Today we're going to add some accessories to the mini bunny doll that we made with our free pattern from sweetbriersisters.com. We're going to start out with a 3-inch pre-made straw hat. These hats can be found in the doll making section of your local craft store. I'll also put a link to a place to buy them online below. You'll go ahead and cut the bottom off of your hat to make it more into a bonnet, and just to make sure nothing unravels, we'll just secure that with hot glue. Once the hot glue dries, you can wrap around some ribbon. You'll leave a little bit of a tail on each end and then secure that around your bonnet with some hot glue. Then you can just tuck those ends up into the inside of the bonnet. Trim off any extra ribbon, and you can go ahead and try it onto your doll just to make sure that everything is fitting right. Now you're going to take a 14-inch piece of ribbon. It's best if this ribbon is about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch wide. The ribbon that I'm using right now is a little bit thin for this, but it'll work. You will put a dot of glue on the middle of the bottom of your bonnet and secure the middle of your ribbon to that. And then you're going to glue this ribbon basically just to cover the raw edge of that bonnet on the bottom. So half of it will be kind of in the front of the bonnet, and then it'll be folded in half so that the other half is kind of covering the raw edges on the back of the bonnet. And then, because hot glue doesn't always stay put during playtime, I just went ahead and I tacked each end in place with just with a needle and thread. It was kind of hard to get through the straw hat on this part, and it might be useful to get a metal thimble to help you kind of push the needle through a little bit. And again, we're just gonna try this on our doll again, just to make sure everything is gonna work. It's looking good, so now it's time to put some accessories on it. I have just some scrap of a feather boa that I'm using. I'm just cutting off a little bit of those feathers, and I will just hot glue those on to the hat. I'm doing this with the hat on the doll just so that I can see the placement better. You of course want to be really careful not to get any hot glue on your doll while you do this. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a ruffle to go around the hat, and I am just going to do a really wide running stitch along this ribbon just so that I can gather it up into a ruffle. Once I have it gathered, I can, at first I was gonna do kind of a rosette, but I decided against that, so then I decided to just put the ruffle around the brim of the hat. Of course you could do it either way, just depending on what you like. I made sure that it was all evenly spaced, and then I am going to go ahead and hot glue that in place. And I'm hot gluing the raw ends underneath so that they show. I'm just continuing to hot glue everything in place so that it stays right where I want it. And now I'm going to finish it off with some tiny flowers. I found these in the scrapbooking section of our craft store. They're just made out of paper, but they were just the perfect size for these bonnets. So I thought that I would go the easy way out, and instead of making my own, I would just buy them. And it was great. Okay, we've got our first bonnet is all made, and now we'll go ahead and we'll make a second one so you can see the process again if you want. Oh, I forgot. Before we move on to the next one, I put the bonnet on. I tied it in a pretty bow, and then I'm just going to trim the edges of those ribbons so it has a nice even edge. Okay, we're going to do it again. We cut off the edge of another hat. This one, instead of straw, it's just out of a different material. I actually don't know how to say this, but I know how to read it. It's like cinnamon or something. If you know how to say it, why don't you let me know? That would be a good thing for me to learn. It's a beautiful hat making material though. And I'm just, again, I'm just hot gluing that decorative ribbon along the edge of the brim. I guess not the edge of the brim, the edge of the crown. And I'm just adjusting where I want it to be. This hat was a little bit different shape, so it's going a little bit, once I tried it on my doll, I realized it needed to be a little bit different positioning. And I'm actually going to double up these ribbons. So I have a velvet ribbon on the bottom, and then I have this really pretty decorative ribbon on top. And again, you're just going to fold in those raw edges so that they're on the inside of the bonnet. Try to make sure everything's been good. And again, we're going to cut that 14-inch length of ribbon to go along the bottom of the bonnet and then to tie in front. You'll secure the middle of the ribbon to the middle of the back of your bonnet. Sometimes when the glue is really hot and I want to press my ribbon right in place, I'll use my scissors to press it so that my fingers don't get burnt. And again, I'm just tacking those in place so that they don't come off during playtime. Now I'm just making some decorative elements for my hat. I just took some trim and I tied it in a couple loose knots, and I'm just going to glue those on the side of my hat just to add a little decoration. And we'll try it on and see how it looks. I'm always trying to decide if the ear should go under the ribbon or above the ribbon when it's tied on. I think it's looking pretty good. To make the shawls, you can just start with a 1.5 inch by 11 inch rectangle of fabric, and you're just going to fray each edge on purpose to make a bit of a fringe all around the edge. And then you'll fold it in half with the wrong sides facing, and you'll iron it in place. You can then wrap it around your little bunny, and you have an adorably accessorized Regency era inspired doll.